As some people say, we are pretty lucky to be alive due to the technology that we have invented and improved upon at this point. I mean, well, we got computers that can do a lot more than we ever thought they could back when they were first becoming a thing. They've gotten smaller. They shrunk from this giant, about classroom-sized box to, well, essentially something on your wrist. They've grown more capable and more powerful. I mean, the iPad Pro managed to get about 1,000 times more powerful than when it first came out. And of course, the one tech that is always being improved upon to make using computers even better is always the one thing that lies underneath: the software. It's the software that allows us to interact with the hardware. It's what allows us to get creative in AutoCAD, or making videos in iMovie, or Final Cut, or writing documents that we can all easily read and understand because we don't have to try to read someone's shaky handwriting. The systems have allowed us to connect to another computer, so that way we can FaceTime each other, share our files, and get all sorts of things done. The core operating system is what allows us to do amazing things. And Windows 10 does absolutely none of this. I have been trying to film this video for years because for some reason, I don't know why. You guys tell me that Windows 10 is amazing, you absolutely love it, but for some reason, every single time when I try to use it, it's never the case. I just don't understand why it has to be this complicated. So, when all of you thought I'm joking, Windows 10 sucks, no, I mean it. When I made the iPad Pro video and commented, Microsoft set their determination to figure out where they screwed up with their OS so they could get it to run on a tablet again. Maybe that's why Windows 10 really sucks today. Yeah. It kind of does. Well, some of you may say your experiences are just as flawless like me and using Mac OS. Well, unfortunately for me, it's practically like trying to use a Pixel 3 or a Microsoft Surface Duo. Yeah, it's bad. So, okay, enough. You're tired of me constantly saying it's bad without really me giving you an actual reason? So, in today's video, why don't we start telling stories and finally allow me to explain to you why Windows 10 is the single worst operating system ever designed and engineered on the face of planet Earth. Oh man. Oh geez, I'm really gonna have to do everything I can to stay calm because wow, does it always anger me whenever I have to explain that, man, it's bad, and they completely disregard it as if my words mean nothing. But oh well, since to some people my words mean nothing anyways, and to some it does, why not just get this out for the people that actually do want to listen? So, here we go. So before I begin these stories, I will mention what computers these were on because this has been my experience across not one computer or two, but practically every single one I have ever used. Every single one that has always had problems. And, well, okay, well, yeah, maybe it's just because you got a bad computer. And this is what everyone always says to me. Yeah, that's because the computer you're using is just bad. It's got bad specs and all that. Really? Then why have I had issues on brand new high-end systems? Oh, I don't know where to go with this. That's why this is a rant. So, back when Windows 10 came out, I was originally rather impressed with the new design. I liked how things had changed because, I mean, sticking to the same boring thing really does get old. I was a bit interested in the change and wanted to check it out. Well, it was fine at first because I was just getting used to it and I thought, okay, these bugs might be normal because A, it just came out, and B, well, it's probably just because there's a few things core features that have changed and I just have to refigure out how to use it. Well, unfortunately, I really wish it was as simple as that. So, at first I was running older computers with Windows because, well, back then you could run Windows 7 on them just fine. There was no reason to really upgrade your computers because back when Vista was a pain and you get the Vista certified stickers, well, you could run 7 on them just fine, no problems. So theoretically, because software is supposed to improve with every generation, it should run Windows 10 just fine. No, it didn't. That thing was so painfully slow. For some reason, okay, this is a slow computer, an iMac from 2009. Okay, it's kind of expected to be slow. It takes about 10 minutes for this thing to boot up. It takes 10 minutes for me to log in on a Windows 10 computer that used to run Vista. Okay, so that's slow hardware that came out at the time this iMac came out. So despite that, yeah, it takes 10 minutes to boot this thing up. It takes me about usually 20 seconds to log in on this thing. Nah, it takes 5 to 10 minutes to log in on Windows 10 on a computer that came out in the same era. So, okay, yeah, the speeds of it, alright, I was not impressed. So, I knew I was running older hardware, so I thought, okay, maybe it's just because of the old hardware. Maybe if you get brand new hardware that ships with this operating system, all of these problems would go away. Nope. No, they didn't. Example, those of you who have been subscribed to the Random Alpha Network longer than just when I created this channel, you might know that I used to use a Windows 7 tower. That was because I originally got it handed down from my mom, and she bought a Windows 10 laptop. So, okay, it was brand new, and it's got decent specs actually. It's got a Core i7, 12 gigs of RAM. I don't remember if there's a dedicated GPU or not, but it's got pretty decent specs for a brand new computer from 2017. Keep in mind, this shipped with Windows 10. So everything was supposed to run smoothly, right? Well, no, it kinda didn't. First of all, we randomly got forced into tablet mode because she has a 360 laptop. Why? Touchscreens aren't really that helpful on desktop computers or laptops. Yeah, because I wasn't capable of going into 360 mode. Yeah, it also had tablet mode, and somehow randomly it just decided to switch to tablet mode, and then she got stuck in it. Yeah. That was a barrel of monkeys to figure out how to turn off. Oh, we also had the issues of forced updates, and it still kind of is an issue. It drives her nuts whenever her computer takes longer because it has to go through an update that she can't schedule or postpone, mind ya. And, okay, people say you can disable this in the settings. You can turn off the force updates in the settings. No, you can't. We've tried. You can't. It still goes through it. And then the last annoying part, and okay, you could say that we have a funny printer, and yeah, printers tend to act pretty funny, but I'm not too sure if the problem was the printer, because we've tried so many other computers. We tried my old Windows XP tower, which the Windows 7 tower replaced. That printed just fine with the printer. We had the Windows 7 tower that printed just fine with the printer. We had my dad's old Windows 7 laptop before it died of age. Yeah, that printed just fine with the printer. And even when I got my Mac set up to use the printer, yeah, they worked just fine actually. So what about my mom's Windows 10 laptop? Why are we getting extra copies? I'm serious. Whenever we print anything, even if it's just one copy, we always get an extra copy if we print using that Windows 10 laptop. I don't know why. My MacBook doesn't do this. My iMac doesn't do this. My dad's Windows 7 computer, back when it was still alive, didn't do this. The Windows 7 tower didn't do this. The Windows XP tower didn't do this. None of our computers in the house did this until we hooked up the Windows 10 laptop to that. And for some reason, and no, my computers are still ineffective. All the other computers are still ineffective, except the Windows 10 laptop. We still get extra copies to this day. Why? Okay, so yeah, this is a higher end laptop, mind you. So, well, maybe it's mid-range after all. I mean, it's an i7, sure, but it's only 12 gigs of RAM and possibly an integrated GPU. Yeah, those specs are bad. Okay, what happens if we put in a dedicated GPU? Because my grandpa also has a laptop with a Core i7, 12 or 16 gigs of RAM, I don't remember, but it's more than 8, and a dedicated NVIDIA graphics card. So yeah, that thing had dedicated graphics, so technically it's a better laptop. It also came out during the same era. Okay, should it be better? Oh, No, it wasn't. In fact, it was actually worse. A higher spec laptop, worse than my mom's computer. Okay, what happened? Well, first of all, I was just randomly using it, browsing in Microsoft's should be optimized Microsoft Edge, so I could browse through my documents on Google Drive, and 5 minutes into editing a Google Doc. A Google Doc on a web page. Guess what happened? Yep. Blue screen of death. Just from browsing the web on Google Drive. Now, some people have told me, oh, it can't have been the computer. I mean, these scams like that happen all the time. There's scams that try to fake the blue screen of death, except no, this was a legit blue screen of death. Do you want to know how I knew? Because those scams always put up contact information so you can contact the scammer. The real blue screen of death doesn't do this. Considering that I found no contact information on that blue screen, yeah, that wasn't a scam. The computer itself, keep in mind, higher spec than my mom's computer, crashed. It failed. Just from browsing the internet! Okay, but that's not the only issue I've had. In fact, I tried to film a video with my grandpa, and everything Apple versus everything Android and / Windows challenge. Kind of like when Salt and I did the everything Apple race. Okay, what was the problem here? Alright, we set up OBS, which works on both Mac and Windows, and obviously works fine on Mac all the time. It always has worked just fine. So we go to set it up on Windows so we can do a screen recording display capture. So we opened up Add Display Capture, and guess what OBS told us? No display found. No display found. This is a laptop. My grandpa's computer is a laptop. We tried to do this on a laptop, and OBS says no display found. There's no display connected at all. There's a freaking display on the laptop. So if you're going to allow third-party screen recorders, and keep in mind they do, then the software should know there's a display. Why? Okay, yeah, that's a high-end spec computer. And have we had issues with even higher spec computers? Yeah. Yeah, we have. 10th generation Intel Core i7. This is a custom build, by the way. So, yeah, it's got pretty dang good specs in it. Core i7 with the K, which is the overclocking version. And yes, it was an overclock. So, this computer was a good performer. And also owned by my grandpa. By the way, yeah, he actually is a computer nerd. And he built himself a custom build PC, which I thought was pretty cool. I really wish I could build one day, except, well, I'm not going to install Windows on it. But he did, and yeah, we've had issues on that. For some reason, after we tried to load another operating system on a separate physical drive, keep in mind, we had Windows on one drive, another operating system on another. All of a sudden, we tried to load Windows. No! What are you talking about? There's no Windows, there's no copy of Windows here. Oh my goodness, why? Why do they do this? But is that all? No, we're still not done. Oh, jeez. Oh, this is one of my favorite stories to tell, actually. Back when I went to public school, Windows 10 was still a thing, I had to write an essay in English. Okay, this shouldn't be too hard, and actually, I got a pretty dang good grade on that. So, yeah, I was pretty proud of that essay. But printing this essay, oh my gosh! I need to ask you a question. How many computers does it take to print one essay? In theory, it should be one. In reality, it takes 5 computers, all running the same operating system to print an essay. So here we go. Let's get into that story. All right. So, first computer I tried, and actually I'm going to list all the problems that would have... I actually don't remember what order these problems came in, but I do remember they existed. So, computer number 1. We go to log in so we can get access to what I need to print. Okay, we're waiting, and I'm waiting, and waiting, and waiting, until finally I basically get this message saying, oh, I'm just too lazy. Yeah,
I don't really like you, so I'm just going to kick you back out so you have to log back in again. Yeah, well, I'm just too slow and too lazy, and I suck so much because I don't want you to get any work done. Okay, yeah, I'm kind of exaggerating it, but yeah, it basically decided, nope, we're just not gonna log you in. So that's computer number 1. On to computer number 2. Now, technically these are supposed to be done on Google Docs. That's what we were supposed to write the essays on, except, well, the internet at my house in general sucks. I mean, my room has no access to the Wi-Fi, but even if I did, it's slow. It is so slow, and sometimes it would just randomly go out. Yeah, I basically changed that to, no, I did it on Microsoft Word, just so that way I didn't have to worry about the internet connection going out. But because it was done on Word, that means it was not in the cloud. So I had to put it on Drive. Okay, so it shouldn't be that hard. I mean, every computer's got some form of USB port, right? Go to plug in my drive, and I wait. And wait. And then eventually decide that, yeah, the computer does not recognize it, or maybe the USB port is dead. So I unplugged. I even unplugged the mouse and keyboard. I tried every single USB port that computer had, even on the back. And nope, I'm sorry, I don't know what a drive is. So problem number 2, couldn't recognize a flash drive. I even tried the ports that the mouse and keyboard were plugged in. Yeah, it just flat out refused to do it. Okay, that's computer number 2. On to computer number 3. Alright, computer number 3. We pray that we get to log in. We pray that it recognizes the flash drive, and this time it does recognize the flash drive. Now, for some reason, I have this habit where whenever I am completely finished and I don't want things changed, I save it as a PDF. That's just my habit with writing documents in general. So, of course, I saved it as a PDF. But for some odd reason, Windows 10, believe it or not, does not have a default PDF reader. Mac OS has one. How do we open a PDF? We go to Microsoft Edge. We go to the web for a web-based application that can open a PDF. Question: why does Windows not open a PDF? Because it's a pretty common format. If you didn't know this, printers use this all the time. And you don't even have a default application for it? So, okay, fine. We try to open Microsoft Edge so it can view the PDF, and we get more pop-ups. Excuse me, Windows, can you open up this PDF? PDF? What's a PDF? I can't open PDFs. PDFs don't exist. Yeah, they do. I know that you are capable of opening them in Microsoft Edge. Say, what? You must be hallucinating. No, we can't open a PDF. So we can log me in, we can plug in a flash drive, but we can't open a PDF. Alright, on to computer number 4. So, here's computer number 4. We pray we log in, we'll get logged in. We pray that the flash drive works, the flash drive works. We pray that it opened a PDF, and finally, it opened a PDF. Now it's time to print the document. Alright, here we go. We go to print, and we select a printer. No printers to be found. Okay, now yeah, this is technically a network issue, so it could have been an issue with the connection between the two. It might have, and I'm pretty sure they used a physical connection, so who knows? I don't know if this was Windows 10 in this case, but just be advised, this was computer number 4, and we still haven't printed an essay. We can't print it because there's no printer. On to computer number 5! So we get to computer number 5. We pray that we can get logged in, we get logged in. We pray that it recognizes the flash drive, it recognizes the flash drive. We pray that it recognizes a PDF and is capable of opening it, it recognizes a PDF and it opens it. We pray that it finds a printer, and it finally found a printer. And finally, 15 minutes after pushing print, the printer wakes up and prints my essay. So, in total, it took me 5 computers, 45 minutes, practically 3/4 of a class period, just to print one essay. Why? Is that the last of my issues? No, of course not. We still got more to talk about, because it's a rant. Alright, and actually, this one I got caught on camera. So, okay, Windows struggles to recognize formats, right? Okay,
So during a challenge that Salt and I did, we did a race between using Windows 10 and macOS High Sierra. We have this video still up on the Random Alpha back before this channel was created. So one of the challenges is to create a document, do some document stuff, and then save it as a PDF. So we did this at Salt Pepper's house, and they have a Windows 10 all-in-one computer. Now, I'll be honest, that thing sucks. It is very slow. The mouse barely responds. Like, even after I plugged in my own personal mouse, it was still slow. Like, it was struggling to run. So, okay, it was a bit slow, but I don't think being able to recognize formats should be an issue, should be a hardware issue. If it can't recognize formats, that's a software issue. But anywho, I'm getting off topic. This computer that they use doesn't actually have Microsoft Office on it. So we had to use the built-in Microsoft WordPad, which is free, and it comes on every Windows. So, okay, at least we had a document writer. So we go to open WordPad, and it does everything in terms of making a document just fine. It's the export that becomes the problem. The challenge is to export it as a PDF. We go to File, Save As. This is basic. Every Windows user knows this. File, Save As. Where's the PDF option? Where's the PDF option? And okay, so yeah, it didn't work, and we had to get a move on with that challenge anyway, so we tried a different format. No matter what format I tried, it did not save to anything. It always says failed to save document, failed to save document. It's like this application is useless. And this is also the free built-in text editor. macOS has a free built-in document editor. And it is capable of not just saving to PDF, but Microsoft Word and other formats as well. And Microsoft free text editor can't do squat. And then we get to the last Windows computer that, believe it or not, I am forced to use almost every week. Oh my god, it's my church's computer for streaming. I'm in charge of managing the streams for the mass. So, when I asked for a computer, because we kind of need a computer to do streams, I begged, please get a Mac. It's going to work without any problems, and if anyone else uses it, I will personally train them how to use it, just because they don't know how. But no, we had to get a Windows 10 PC because Windows is what everybody is familiar with. So, guess what we're using? Windows 10. And oh, we've already had quite our fair share of problems. First of all, okay, it actually takes only 5 seconds to boot up. That's fine. Why does it take 3 to 5 minutes just to boot my applications? So, okay, it's slow, and it's got a quad-core i5, so a new quad-core i5 should not be that slow. My MacBook is capable of booting applications faster than 3 minutes. This iMac can boot most applications faster than 3 to 5 minutes. iMovie can sometimes be a bog, but usually when I boot it, it averages 3 minutes. But if I boot like Pages or something, Pages, Safari, Notes, anything, it takes about 30 seconds at most. It doesn't take that long on these, and it takes 3 minutes to boot all my applications on that Windows 10 computer. Alright, and what about other issues? Because we still have them. Oh yeah, the network port on it just randomly decided to turn off, and you kind of need internet to stream. So, yeah, that wasn't nice. And then the last part, we spent hours trying to fix this problem. It randomly decided to forget what the camera was, so adding it back was a real pain. So combined with all of these issues of things that really just should work, not working. Also, I failed to mention that most of these computers, I have witnessed apps crash on them. I witnessed Google Chrome on that high-end laptop my grandpa owns crash. I witnessed it myself. Seeing all these apps crash, blue screen of death on the one, super slow, things just, formats not being recognized. What the heck is wrong with this? time. And before you just call me a Windows hater, no, I used to love Windows. I loved Windows 7. I still do. It has to be the best version of Windows I've ever seen. I didn't even know what macOS even was until I decided to leave Windows 10. So, alright. I try to keep it in as long as I can, but I'm losing it. We're going into overdrive. Microsoft, what are you doing? You're not doing anything right. You made Python the single worst operating system operating on the face of the planet. People say Windows Vista is bad. Yeah, I can agree. It is pretty bad, but you want to know something? This is even worse because this is newer than Vista. Microsoft should have learned how to make an operating system good at this point. They did it with Windows 7, but Windows 10? No! Why? This stupid thing doesn't even work. Apps are constantly crashing. On older hardware, it's super slow. It's unreliable. It's every single bad adjective you can throw at it. And no, you can call me Apple Sheep all you want or whatever, but you want to know something? I had no idea macOS was a thing until I left. And no, it is not slow hardware I'm using. I have used brand new high-spec computers, and this operating system doesn't work. I am so upset that Windows 11 is based off of this same operating system because it clearly shows Microsoft hasn't learned anything. I don't know if you guys know this, but there have been a lot of people that have tried switching to the Mac after the M1 transition was announced. And you know what? I think it's a really smart idea because, well, if you just constantly say that, no, Windows 10 works just fine, you just have to use high-end hardware. I use high-end hardware and it doesn't work. I don't understand how Microsoft is getting away with this. It doesn't make sense. This is bad. And you know what? A lot of you Windows users out there, admit it. You know it's bad. You know this is much worse than Windows 7. And yeah, sure, it's got cool extra features and all. The extra features are nice, but they're not nice if they don't work. And now that the M1 transition and people are so interested, they're so interested that the M1 transition is happening, they're thinking about trying a Mac in the first place. You know what? I really hope they're happy with macOS. And I'm pretty sure a lot of them might be able to decide, fine, I'll switch because Microsoft Windows is that bad. A lot of you just won't admit it because, well, what are you going to switch to? Linux? Well, you gotta have skill to know how to use Linux practically. macOS? No, it's Apple. Their hardware is way too expensive and it's built from cheap materials, cheap hardware. Oh, man, it's so expensive. Yeah, it sucks because it's Apple. Give it a try. Seriously. Those of you who are willing to try out, just try buy the $700 base M1 Mac Mini. That's all you need. Just give that a try. And sure, macOS is different, but you just have to learn how to use it real quick. And when you do learn how to use it, I found that for some reason, despite that this is an 09 iMac, it runs much better than brand new Windows 10 high-spec machines. Why? I feel so bad for those of you who either can't afford Apple because, yeah, their prices are high, I will admit that, because they're practically stuck with Windows. And you can't go back because Microsoft decided to end support for the best operating system in the world. So, oh yeah, this is not going very well for them. You can tell. You wonder why. You guys wonder, why do I hate Windows 10 so much? This is why. Microsoft clearly doesn't care, and they don't have to. They really don't. You know why? Because there are enough people out there who refuse to pay Apple's higher prices, even though you can argue the Mac is a better product. Or maybe you have an application that requires Windows. Well, you know what? Most applications, you can find good alternatives. You can either find them on the Mac or you can find decent alternatives to them. And what about the gaming industry, though? I mean, Macs suck at gaming, don't they? And so does Linux. Linux isn't even the best for that either. It's called Get a Life. Get off your duff. Go hug your mom. Go hug your grandma. Go hug someone. Go tell people jokes. Go do things. Go outside. Do stuff. Walk your dog. Play with your dog. Snuggle with your cat. Do things. Don't just sit on a computer and stare at a screen and ignore the rest of the world all the time. There's much better things you can do. There are ways of getting around this, but it drives me nuts that when people say I am just flat out wrong, that they say Windows 10 is not flawed, it is perfect. No, it is not. My experience has begged to differ, and because it has been so horrible since launch, I left. I was a Windows user ever since the XP Vista days, and I left because Windows took a big trip to the landfill. And keep in mind, I had no idea what the Mac was until 2018. Salt Pepper can vouch for this. So even when I still was a big fan of Windows, I hate Windows 10 because it doesn't work. And for those of you who refuse to buy Apple products for whatever reason it is, I feel so bad for you, because you have to put up with this horrible operating system that just doesn't work. Despite that people used to complain that Macs might not be the most powerful, I think now that Apple's making their own chips and putting them in their computers, you know what? I'm staying with the Mac. Because for some reason, it works. And, well, yeah, every computer is at risk of crashing at some point. It's even happened with this before. Not system-wide, but just apps crashing, but just an app crashing. It does happen every now and then, but not to the sheer frequency it does on Windows 10. And keep in mind, this is a 12-year-old computer. Why is this a problem? A brand new operating system that came out in 2015 after an amazing operating system update. How did Microsoft screw it up this bad? And you know what? They don't care. They don't think it's a screw up. And you know what? Even if they know it's a screw up, they don't care. They're not going to fix it. And do you want to know why? It's because the same reason why my church gave me that Windows 10 computer to stream for church. It's because everyone is familiar with Windows. That is why people will keep buying the same horribly designed operating system from Microsoft. I don't know what is wrong with them. Started with Windows 10, and then they came out with hardware. And believe it or not, I'm sorry, that hardware is garbage. I don't know why you're buying it. So if the reason why you're sticking with this bad operating system, and you can admit it's bad, the only reason you're sticking with it is because it's familiar, you know what? Just try out something different. You can either go to Linux if you absolutely hate Apple for whatever reason, or try the Mac. Yes, it's different, and I know there are some people that are scared of different. I was a little bit at first because it was different, but then I used it. I figured out how to use it. I got used to the Mac way, to the point where I can now operate both Windows and Mac. And you know what? I have practically no frustrations with macOS. Now I do have frustrations with the hardware because this is an old computer, and usually would have frustrations with older computers. But if you want my opinion about the operating system, I am not frustrated with it. I am not frustrated with my computers because of what they're running. I'm frustrated with my computers because they're old. That's it. So if you're really sticking to this operating system that you know is bad, seriously, I mean, especially now that Apple's made the M1, try it. Try something different. It's going to be a bit of a learning curve, but you get used to it. And then it becomes like you've used it for years. That is why I left Windows. Because for some reason, Microsoft has turned Windows into nothing but a pile of buffalo chips. Alright, I'm out of rant mode. And it's because it's time to get excited again. Because, as you all should know, it's iPhone season. And when it's iPhone season, it means, yeah, this guy is very excited. And yeah, I did actually just find out about the Apple event that was announced. So, can't wait for Tuesday! Woohoo! Alright, thank you for watching this overdriven rant. My mouth is so dry right now. Do me a favor and interact with the stuff below. My name is Alpha DeWolf, Windows 10 hater, signing out.